Hello, this is Diana Jarvis from the Young Reporter Scheme, and I'm talking today with Ioana Staicu about her time with us in 2018. Welcome to the podcast, Ioana. You said when you did the scheme that it helped you in meeting deadlines, and you also met some lovely people. How else did the scheme benefit you?
Well, it gave me a plethora of skills. First of all, it gave me confidence and encouragement because, as a non native English speaker, I really found that I had to develop my writing and speaking skills, particularly since coming to the UK, because I found that, the English you learn from books is not the same as the English you speak with other people or the English that you write for an article that so many people are going to see. So I found it really, really encouraging, as I said. Also, it did help me kind of organize myself a little bit better because I've always kind of been in a little race with time, sometimes struggling to meet deadlines. So it made me more organized, which really helped me at university later on. Um, but also it helped me connect with the community because I was going out there trying to find all sorts of events and things to write about, and I met new people that I interviewed, and I found that a really enriching experience at the end of the day.
I mean, obviously, English is not your first language or your mother tongue. So, did you find it difficult to write in the kind of style that the Young Reporter Scheme expects?
At times, it was a bit more difficult to kind of get the ideas that I had in with the right words because sometimes you think of something and it seems perfect in your mind, but when it comes to writing, it's a bit more difficult. Um, but I think, as I said, it became better because I had to write an article a month. As time went by, it got a bit easier. So that's a massive benefit of the scheme, in my opinion.
Did you find it difficult to find ideas for articles?
At times, yes, but fortunately, there was quite a lot going on in Crawley at the time where I was based. So I was really happy to see a words festival at the local library, and I was going on a trip, for example, with my school to Poland, and then I wrote about that. So I think opportunities came naturally, and that was really nice. And if not, I was just thinking about something I was passionate about, for example, music, and then I managed to write about that, and actually that ended up getting me the highly commended prize at the end. So that was quite nice.
I think that happens. When you're writing, you sort of get ideas for other stories, and they kind of feed off each other, which is what journalism is all about, basically. So, tell me what you've been up to since leaving school.
So now I'm studying at the University of Edinburgh. I'm in my second year doing psychology and linguistics, which has been quite a journey. Well, especially since the start of the pandemic, but that's
Well,
nothing
yes.
new. But even in my first year, it was really, really good. And also, I'm really heavily involved in an organization called the United Nations Association, the Youth Platform, where I'm happy to be the director of Model UN, which means that Model UN is a type of debate where we discuss uh, problems that are happening around the world in the style that diplomats discuss them at the United Nations. So my role is to basically coordinate these societies that organize this type of debates, and it's been particularly challenging during the pandemic. And I'm trying to find ways in which to empower them, to keep them afloat, and also to get people to connect because a big part of these debates was meeting in person, obviously, and debating and seeing the verbal and nonverbal kind of behavior of people, and also, the social side of things. So now I'm trying to find ways of kind of compensating for that online, but also, writing resources that we want to put on the website. So I've definitely been kind of using the skills that I started developing during the scheme because I need to write about kind of the organization, what we do, and also I'm hoping to create more resources that will help these societies in the future. And other than that, yes, the debates and all sorts of little side hustles to keep me going during the pandemic, I suppose.
I mean, that sounds really interesting. I'm surprised you had time to, do your university work because it sounds like a full-time job what you're talking about. I mean, does that take up a lot of your time?
It does, but I think, and it was a great challenge to kind of balance my time and find time for myself as well, because people keep telling me, "Ioana, you need to take a break," which was, but I was really driven, and I'm still really driven by this role. So I'm trying hard to kind of maintain the balance between my degree and um, kind of this role, because I know that it helps other people and it helps other societies. And so that's kind of my drive behind finding time for everything. And yeah, it's not easy, but I'm hoping that I will get better and better at it. Journalist style, meeting deadlines and everything all in time, while delivering high quality work. So, yes.
So presumably, you're doing this sort of part-time, but I mean, how many hours would that take a week? I mean, it must take hours.
Well, it is, first of all, it's not paid, it's a volunteering experience basically. And I set my own hours. Sometimes I spend more time than I planned because I get all sorts of new ideas and then I want to act on them. And then I organize meetings with other people to discuss those ideas. So I basically set my own deadlines and my own schedule. Usually it's on a very ad hoc kind of basis, which is why, as I said, sometimes I get carried away. But it takes around at least 5 hours a week, I would say, depending on how many meetings I have as well.
But
So
presumably the pandemic has made a difference because everything has to be on Zoom now and meetings, etc. Have you found that difficult?
well, it's actually funny because I joined this organization as the representative of my local MUN society, and I joined that at the start of lockdown, so last March, April. And then I gradually kind of got involved in the organization. Everything happened online. And then I applied to be the director of Model UN online. And now all the other directors and members of the organization, I meet online. So I've been working for months with people that I never met in real life, and it's a crazy concept, but it's also, exhilarating at the same time because we can do so many things. I'm collaborating with people from, China, um, Korea, I don't know, like everywhere around the world, and we managed to find a time and create all these things that otherwise we might not have been able to create in real life, in real, in person.
It's certainly easier to reach people with, Skype and all the online platforms. But what are your plans when you leave university? Do you have any plans?
I mean, it's interesting because I never expected university to shift my perspective in the way that it did. I came here thinking I'm going to do something like psychotherapy or become a counselor or something. And then I figured, or I realized that there are so many options, and I found new ways or new things that I really do enjoy, maybe sometimes a bit more than my degree, but we don't talk about that. And I had to really rethink what I want to do. And it's only been a matter of months or even less that I started to kind of have an idea of what I want to do. So I'm thinking of maybe going down the route of organizational psychology, because this way I can combine the work I'm doing with UNAYP, or in the style of UNAYP, and the work I've been doing, during my degree, to basically help teams collaborate better and to improve the work atmosphere in companies. And I feel like after the pandemic and during the pandemic specifically, this is something that many companies will need, because obviously we've had to change so much in the way that we work and in the way that we communicate. And the psychological implications of that are considerable. And I'd love to go down that route and investigate a little bit more, and also just in general help them. And I've realized that there is a term for this kind of job, and it's called consultancy. So I might do something related to that. But who knows? I have two more years of university. I might change my mind in the meantime. But that would be a nice career path to go down, I think.
It's interesting because obviously, as you said, what you plan to do and how it's sort of turned out, it's strange how sort of life evolves like that. And it's good because you've obviously found a real niche in something that you really enjoy. Going back to the young reporter, I mean, what was your favourite part about it?
Quite frankly, other than the writing stage, I really, really liked the day when we had to come to the journalism department at Kingston University and literally create our newspaper from scratch. It was really fascinating and a bit stressful because I saw how much pressure there is in meeting all those deadlines. And it was different from just having to go out there, talk to another student and write the article and post it online. It was a matter of getting everything together, thinking about the logical order of things, communicating with others efficiently, and things like that. And it's funny, there's one thing that I remember to this day, which is when the professor that was kind of guiding us through the process told us that when people read newspapers or books, they naturally look at the right page first, which I never realized. And then during the day, we had to discuss kind of what articles we're putting on the right side, what articles we're putting on the left side. Um, and I'm quite happy to say that mine ended up on the right page. So
So, would you recommend the scheme to future students considering it?
definitely 100%. So I would recommend it to all students at all stages, and particularly to students like me from the EU or from international students, because I think it is a great experience and it will allow them to kind of get more involved in the local community, whilst also bringing their own unique touch to the beautiful diversity that already exists. And I found it a very empowering scheme. I met lovely people along the way. I learned so many things, and it's not just about deadlines, but it's just thinking about the world and trying to kind of extract the stories that you want to share with other people. And in addition to being a very shiny thing on your CV or cover letter, I think it's a great scheme and a great step, I think, in one's career and academic development, regardless of what profession they choose in the end. So definitely a great project to be part of.
Well, it's nice to know that you have done so well and have done such a lot since leaving school and having done the scheme. I really appreciate you talking to me and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is Diana Jarvis from the Young Reporter Scheme talking to Iona Staicu.